When we think about King as human and not divine, when we think about him as strategic and not morally unassailable, he becomes more available to us, and I actually think he becomes more useful to us as an organizing tool, because his imperfections didn't change the fact that he altered the course of American history. So we need not be perfect before we engage in altering American history.
Martin Luther King Jr. is a human person, but that's not who we typically are acknowledging and remembering at this moment in our history. We are remembering Martin Luther King Jr., the thing, the entity, the movement, the symbol. And that Martin Luther King Jr. is a collective effort. He is both created in his moment and then recreated and reimagined in every historic epic that follows. The genius of King was in part about his ability to inspire, support, and translate existing movements.
There is no point at which navigating political interests and identities is not difficult. When you are trying to build coalitions, you have to be willing to recognize that you might be making a mess of other people's stuff. You should inject the question of diversity away from bodies and onto ideas, because it's ideas that change people across time.
I'm a son of an immigrant, first generation American.
There is no elite university in the United States of America that has figured out race. The value of how universities engage with questions of race and with questions of gender and with questions of sexual orientation is that the thing we are most supposed to value here is the quality of ideas. And if the most valuable thing is the quality of ideas, there's at least the possibility of moving towards a sort of grander equality.
I think the man who we know as King is in fact deeply influenced by the work of women who supported him, sometimes, who challenged him at other times, who critiqued him, who suffered, who mourned him, and who undoubtedly carried on the work of King after he was gone. Ella Baker believed that people already had their own answers and that the job of a leader was to get them to know that they already had their own answers. She kept telling him, don't go tell the people what to do, go ask the people what they want you to do. There are, however, women who confront. Elizabeth Eckford, one of the Little Rock Nine, gets separated from them and therefore finds herself walking a gauntlet into Little Rock High School. But it is Elizabeth Eckford in this moment of this kind of quiet endurance of racist rage, which becomes, I think, the standard for heroic resistance. This is what the civil rights movement is supposed to look like. You enduring this sort of hatred. And it underscores a certain kind of belief within the context of the civil rights movement that undeserved suffering is redemptive. Which brings us back to King in all of his imperfections. In all of his imperfections, what King taught us at our core is what a democracy really is. The legacy of King is the reminder that when we live in a democracy, we have a right to govern, not just to be governed, to rule, not just to be ruled, to be heard, not silenced, and to lose without fear that winners take all. King told us that almost always the creative, dedicated minority has made the world better. Look carefully at that picture. It is easy to see just King, the counterman, and the policeman. Look carefully at the picture. Don't ever fail to see the women standing next to King.
A production of the University of Rochester. Please visit us online and subscribe to our channel for more videos.